We thank you for joining us here on WMKV and WLHS. We're going to break in on Russ's time here for just a little bit because we want to tell you about a very important event coming up. It's a reunion, and we'll explain that in just a moment, with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra and you. This is coming up this Thursday, October 21st, 7 p.m. at the Redmoor in Mount Lookout, 3187 Linwood. We have two very special guests joining us here. We have Mandy Gaines and also Eric Lechliter. And thank you both so much for being here with us today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
It's great to be here.
Mandy is what we have often called Cincinnati's First Lady of Song. I know she's been billed that with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. She is a Cincinnati Jazz Hall of Famer, and I have to tell you, one of my favorite vocalists to ever pass through Cincinnati, and we've had so many incredible ones. Eric Lechliter is the artistic director with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra, and this is going to be a special evening. It's called Big Band Reunion Celebration with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. Would either of you like to chime in on why this is such a big reunion to kick off the 2021-22 season?
We're really thrilled to have this opportunity once again. You know, over the past year, we've had a few opportunities here and there to kind of perform together throughout the pandemic, but what we haven't been able to do is play at our home, the Redmoor, since 2019. We haven't played a performance at our own venue since 2019, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's been over 2 years, and usually we have a 6-concert season that happens at the Redmoor. So our last performance of our regular season was in February of 2020 at the Corinthian Baptist Church, a few short weeks before the first lockdown. And so we're just really thrilled that we can come back and reunite with our audience, reunite with our venue, and just kind of herald the return of big band music at the Redmoor.
And what a great way to do it as well, with Mandy Gaines on the vocals. We're talking about a full 17-piece ensemble, big band here that's going to be playing at the Redmoor at Mount Lookout. Tickets are still available. In fact, this show's coming up this Thursday, October 21st, 7 p.m. Tickets at cincinnatijazz.org, and you can find all the information there. We also have Mandy Gaines here with us. And Mandy, we're talking about all this great instrumentation, a full big band behind you, and then you add that perfect extra instrument in your voice. This has to be just such a rush to perform with a big band.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely incredible. And to tell you the truth, I don't know. I think I love it even more than when I'm with one musician or a trio. I mean, it's just so powerful behind you, and it makes me truly feel like Ella Fitzgerald when I'm up there singing with the big band.
And I'll tell you, I'll put you right up there with Ella right now. I know you're blushing probably, but yes. A fantastic vocalist. And, of course, the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. We've talked about their series at the First Unitarian Church, but this one is at the Redmoor, back in the red, if you will. And we have Eric Lechliter and Mandy Gaines here with us. Mandy, you travel all around the world performing. What is it about Cincinnati that keeps your roots here?
Well, born and raised here in Cincinnati, so it's just always great to play with the home team. I mean, I've played with musicians from Asia to Finland to Russia, you know, and they're great, you know, but it's just, I don't know, it's just a different language that we speak, the people that you've grown up with and the friends that you have and the musicians that you've worked with for a long time, kind of like a different language of the home team. So I'm always happy to be home playing with the guys.
And we're going to be hearing from Eric Lechliter in a few moments about a special suite that's going to be performed. And this has never been performed anywhere else. Is that correct, Eric?
That is very correct. Some of the music is, in fact, still being written. So it's going to be a one-of-a-kind experience that no one's ever heard before.
We're going to be playing a few examples of past performances with Mandy Gaines and the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra as part of this interview. But can you give us an idea of kind of the feel of this new suite of music that's going to be performed as part of that evening on October 21st?
This piece was commissioned by our board president, Doug Lillibridge, and his charge to me was kind of to write something that commemorated the experience that we've all collectively gone through, which for a big band is a pretty heavy subject. subject. And so it was kind of a challenge to figure out what direction to go with it. And so, my first inclination was, okay, look, I looked and I tried to find some music from pandemics in the past, like maybe I could find some sort of Gregorian chant from the bubonic plague or some songs from the Spanish flu era or cholera or something like that. And I really, in my research, couldn't find anything that addressed any of those subjects. And so that kind of became the thesis, I guess, behind this piece, is I wanted to write something where, for example, if I played it to a child in the year 2060, or someone in the year 2060 that hadn't gone through what we went through, they would have some idea of what it felt like to kind of live through a pandemic. That was the first kind of kernel of the idea. While I was throwing around other ideas, one of the other ones was like, okay, wouldn't it be funny if I took the Frank Sinatra tune of A Very Good Year and just made it really demented and called it A Very Bad Year? Because it was a very bad year for many of us, right? So that was kind of like a joke, but in doing that, I realized that by that concept of a year, it could kind of lend an element of chronology to the piece to kind of give it that immersive feeling. And so I kind of stumbled on this idea of, the new year, thinking about, the new normal, this new way of doing things that we were all kind of in. And so the combination of those two ideas, trying to really paint the picture of what we all went through and kind of giving it this life cycle of a year, helped me find some various classic poems about the new year that inspired some of the different movements. And so it's a 5-movement instrumental suite, and each one kind of evokes a different mood of this cycle of the pandemic that we've all been through. So I tried to make it honest, so there will be parts of it that will challenge the listener, but just like with this Reunited Celebration, I think that there's going to be a big payoff at the end where hopefully we can all just kind of share a moment of what we all collectively went through.
Eric Lechliter, Artistic Director for the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. We also have Mandy Gaines here with us, who is going to be the vocalist, of course, with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra this Thursday, October 21st at the Redmoor, kicking off the 21-22 season for the CCJO. Let's play a little sample of one of the past performances there, and I believe What Now My Love was one of the songs that you both chose. What makes this such a wonderful tune for an example of what people will hear on October 21st?
This is a really cool tune. It comes from an album from, I believe, the 1960s, featuring Nancy Wilson, and it's an arrangement by the great Billy May. Just a really fun chart. The vocals, it's a tune, I think, that was made famous by Elvis, and so you wouldn't associate that with Nancy Wilson, but the treatment of it, I think, is really fantastic and fun. It kind of is in the spirit of what CCJO is all about. It's about giving something that's recognizable, but also kind of manipulating it and putting it in a different context to kind of stretch your ears. So, and in addition, as we'll hear on this recording, Mandy just sang the stuff out of it. So,
well, it's just really energetic too, and it's an exciting song, and I felt it.
Well, let's hear a little bit of What Now My Love. There is nothing like hearing live music, especially at the Redmoor. We're going to talk more about the venue next here on WMKV and WLHS. Here is the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra and Mandy Gaines, What Now My Love.
My dreams turn into ashes, and my love into pain. Once I feel, once I love, now I'm in love, I've become
The Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra, of course, Mandy Gaines on the vocal, What Now My Love. Thanks so much for being with us. We're kind of cutting into some of Russ's time here to tell you about a wonderful event coming up. It's kicking off the 21-22 season for the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. It's coming up this Thursday, October 21st. The time is 7 o'clock at the Redmoor in Mount Lookout. Tickets are available at cincinnatijazz.org. We'll come back to that information again by the end of the interview here. I want to ask about the Redmoor because there may be some people listening right now who have never been there. I've been there. What is the atmosphere? What can people expect when they come to the Redmoor October 21st?
One of the reasons we love our venue so much is that it's a beautiful space. You know, it's in Mount Lookout Square, which is a very charming neighborhood in the heart of Cincinnati. And the actual venue, I believe, is a former movie theater from way back in the day. And so when you go in, immediately every attention is just focused to this big, beautiful stage, professional lighting. So it feels very much like an upscale, classy event. But the Redmoor is also a fantastic restaurant and bar. And so while the attention is on the stage, there's also plenty of room for conversation, you know, on breaks. And the staff is very friendly like that. So I think it's the perfect blend of kind of a relaxed kind of party atmosphere and a listening space. And that's why we're so happy to be back.
Mandy, how is it acoustically for you as a vocalist? Do you like it there?
Oh, I love it there, you know, and they've got a great sound guy there as well who knows what he's doing. So, yeah, I love it.
We are speaking with Mandy Gaines and also Eric Lechliter. We're talking about the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra Big Band Reunited Celebration, the kickoff of the 21-22 season. And again, we'll give the ticket information a little bit later in the show. Eric, in addition to the special suite that we were talking about, what other pieces can people expect to hear?
Well, since this is a celebration, what I was thinking about in programming this was really just giving everyone some feel-good, soul food type of music. So pretty much everything that we're going to be playing is going to be energetic and fun, in addition to featuring Mandy on some of her greatest hits, which will include the works of Ella Fitzgerald, Nancy Wilson, Doris Day, Sarah Vaughan. The band is going to be kind of reprising some of the more fun works from our previous themed concert. So we're going to be playing the music of Oliver Nelson. We're going to be playing the music of Ray Charles, you know, and different things like that. So it's going to be really celebratory music to just kind of welcome everybody back and make them feel good.
And I'd like to add that there's also a special opening act, and that's Jazz at Dusk from the Cincinnati Jazz Hall of Fame. Absolutely incredible group you want to hear as well. So if you want to hear not only the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra, but hear this very promising group of young performers, the Jazz at Dusk from the Cincinnati Jazz Hall of Fame performance will be just before this. So everything starts at 7 o'clock. Before we get to one more piece of music here, Mandy, I have to ask you, I'm still fascinated by something that Eric said a little bit earlier about maybe going back to Gregorian chants, and he didn't find anything that kind of fit what he was trying to do. Have you ever done a Gregorian chant?
No.
Are you relieved that he couldn't find anything for that? Although I think you would be able to add a little extra soul to the Gregorian chant.
I'm glad he didn't find any. That's fine with me.
I tell you what, though, that's a great idea for next season. I'm going to file that away.
By the way, one of the other things that I love about the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra, one of your main goals is to advance experiences that advance jazz as a living art form and to be an ambassador for jazz in our region. And I can't think of a better organization to do this. There is something about live jazz. You can hear the greatest recordings of all time, and they will move you. But there's something about seeing the give and take, the solos, the trading fours and trading eights that really make something that you can see this work in progress on a stage. Mandy, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain performances that give me chills up and down my spine, but it's just being physically there. You just feel more like it's for you, you know, for you, the audience. So yeah, I think it's great. And with a big band, it just sounds powerful and you just feel more connected to it.
And Eric, you're a trumpet player, so tell us what it's like for you to actually have people there. Is it symbiotic that you're literally feeding off the audience as they're kind of feeding off of you?
It certainly is, and I think that's something that all of us musicians throughout the past year have really missed. You know, I know from my experience, at first it's like, oh, well, now I've got all the time in the world to practice. That'll be okay. And as a jazz musician, there's only so far you can get on your own in terms of practicing, or as we say, shedding, you know, or something like that. You know, at a certain point, we have to have other people to feed off of. Well, otherwise, it's hard to say much of anything. And so that goes two ways. First of all, just being able to play with each other again, but also what you're saying, having the audience there. Sometimes in the jazz world, it feels like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, it doesn't make a sound. So we're hoping to be surrounded by people, and we're hoping to make a big sound Thursday.
Eric Lechliter and Mandy Gaines here with us. Let's play one more example of one of the past performances. I know you were talking about a beautiful ballad called Save Your Love for Me. Mandy, would you like to set this one up a little bit?
Well, this is, I consider Nancy Wilson's signature tune. A lot of people recognize this as being one of her biggest hits. It's just bluesy, sultry, soulful, and one of my favorite songs, and I'm excited to be able to perform it again.
Well, we're going to hear right now, Save Your Love for Me. This is a little bit of a taste, a little bit of an appetizer for the Big Band Reunited Celebration with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. It's kicking off the 21-22 season at the Redmoor this Thursday, October 21st, 7 o'clock. The Redmoor, of course, at Mount Lookout Square. It's the old Mount Lookout Theater, but beautifully, beautifully restored, and a great venue to enjoy friendship and great music. Let's hear a little bit of Save Your Love for Me right now.
Though I know no good can come from loving you, I can't do one thing. I'm so in love with you, so darling, help me please. Have mercy on a fool like me. I know I'm lost, but still I plead for you to save your life for me.
Of Save Your Love for Me, Mandy Gaines on the vocal, along with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. We're talking about the Big Band Reunited Celebration, the kickoff of the 21-22 season for the CCJO. It's happening this Thursday. Tickets are still available, 7 o'clock at the Redmoor. Tickets at cincinnatijazz.org. As we wrap up here, I want to make sure that we cover a lot of this information. But I also want to let people know that the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra is available for hire for events. Is that true, Eric?
That's true. We are available for hire, and we're happy to bring groups of all sizes together to enhance any event with some live jazz.
And some other big news, Mandy just kind of dropped this on me before the interview. Mandy, you have a Christmas compact disc that's going to be coming out, and the hope is that it will be available this Thursday, October 21st at the Redmoor. Is that correct?
That is the hope. That is the wish, that I'll have it in my hot little hands for everybody if they want to purchase a CD and get ready for Christmas.
And that is a perfect stocking stuffer. And Mandy has made sure that we're going to get a copy of that as well so we can feature it here on WMKV and WLHS. Once again, the event is the Big Band Reunited Celebration with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra and the incredible Lady of Song, Mandy Gaines. And this is happening, again, coming up this Thursday. It's right around the corner, October 21st, 7 p.m. at the Redmoor in Mount Lookout Square. If you want tickets, cincinnatijazz.org. Once again, Eric and Mandy, I want to thank you for being with us. We'll give that information on where to get tickets again, but thank you both so much for taking time with us. And I know we're going out with a tune that was, I believe, co-written by Joe Zawinul, and that's Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. Is that correct?
That's right. This is one of our favorite soulful arrangements.
Thank you to Eric. Thank you to Mandy. Here's a little bit of Mercy, Mercy, Mercy from the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra and Mandy Gaines.
1, 2, 3.
Big Band Reunion Celebration with the Cincinnati Contemporary Jazz Orchestra. It's happening this Thursday. Tickets are still available, 7 o'clock at the Redmoor. If you want tickets, get them now, cincinnatijazz.org. And I'm George Zahn. Thank you to Russ for letting us kind of jump in on his time here. Mandy, Eric, thank you both so much, and we hope you have a wonderful performance this Thursday.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.